That is probably the biggest thing that stops people from hitting record on a camera, is taking on board other people's feedback when they're not really the people that are meant to be giving us feedback for it. They're coming from a kind place, so don't get upset with them or angry with them, but just understand where it's coming from. And it's not helpful. So ask them with kindness to please stop. Because if it's stopping you from actually doing more in your marketing and really working through with your personal brand, then that's actually really bad. And I'll use that strong language. It's bad because it's stopping you from growing, and it's stopping you from sharing what you know with people and transforming their lives. Oh, you do this in video well.
Oh.
Yeah. Except our sound's connected.
Have to learn that.
I know. Hello and welcome to Confident and Connected with Melissa J. Scott. I am your host and I'm so excited to be coming to you today with a very impromptu video, but one that is really dear to my heart because I've just come from seeing a client and I thought I'm going to come and make a podcast and a video about this. It's so important. And it's all about how to be confident on camera and how to make video that people actually care about and will engage with and will actually share. And the reason why I want to create this piece of content for you today is because so many business owners, they are in the business of their business and they kind of have an inkling that they need to be creating content, particularly around the way of video. But what holds them back is that, and I'm guessing this could be you because you've Googled this and probably searched this topic, is that you are shy about talking to a camera. You might feel like a bit of a dickhead doing what I'm doing right now. Like I'm set up in Circular Quay and I've got business people and all sorts of people walking past me and watching me and wondering what the hell am I doing? Like I've got a tripod with a camera and a little microphone, and I just have to believe in myself and what I'm doing is important and just press on and not give a shit about what people think and them looking at me and just make my content because it's really important and it has really high value for you guys. I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm on about, and I want you to have that kind of same self-belief in what you do because you might have that. I know a lot of people, they say to me, I'm really good when I'm one-on-one. That's a common thing. And it's just, think of this as being a one-on-one experience. Like the camera is just another human being that I'm talking to that I really want to get across the important information and in a succinct kind of way with a lot of heart and a lot of energy that I would bring to a meeting if I was one-on-one with a person and just be who I am in real life and put that across in a video. Because if you can put that across in a video, I guarantee you people will engage with it, they'll watch it, they'll come back and watch more of your stuff and they'll share it. And that is the whole game of what video is all about. It's about getting an essence of who you are, what it is that you do that can help people, understanding what makes you different to everybody else as well, because that's how people decide who they're going to do business with. It's really who do they like, who do they trust, who do they think is going to get that end result that they need, and then turn that into business. The first thing that you need to do to be really confident in the way that you deliver to camera is to get past yourself and to really be connected to the purpose of what it is that you want to do. So in actual essence, we want to reverse engineer what we are doing when we make a video. So I didn't just come here, sit down, put the video on, record, and then just start speaking and it's all going to be perfect. I've prepared, I've got notes. While I was walking here, I was just sort of thinking about my clients. Who am I dealing with at the moment? Well, I'm picking up a lot of work at the moment, and I've been pushing this angle with successful business owners who have got, multiple people working for them. They're not massive and they're not small, they're probably turning around a million or a couple million or a bit more than that, and they have a really important job in their business in that they are the partner or the director. And this is probably you too, but you need to generate leads. You need to bring in more interest into the business to make it easier for the partners or wherever you have. Oh dear. Oh, hope he's okay. Like I said, anything can happen when you're shooting a video. Your job as the business owner is to bring in more leads, and you can do that by going to networking events, you can do that by meeting people in person, you definitely can do that by referral partners, but the best way to help that happen organically in your business is actually create content that people that are good strategic alliance partners for you, that they can engage with and connect with and be like, you know what, for my clients, I'm going to get them in touch with Melissa because she is an ace at letting people know how to be comfortable on camera and create content. And so I thought, well, that's what I want to do, is create that piece of content, but I've thought about it, I've prepared it, I've written down my notes, I understand who my target audience is, I know who I'm trying to attract, I know what niche they're in, I know what industry they're in, and I'm creating this video specifically for that. And I also know that one of their biggest beliefs, or lack of beliefs, is that it's easy for other people, but it's not easy for me. And that is the big thing. It's my whole the highest value is being life transformational for myself and for all the people around me. And I know that when people nail their content and nail how to be confident on camera, that I can change the very face of their business, because they will create content in a way that they've never done before and create new work opportunities. And I have this really great example of this is a client of mine. His name is Steve Sid. I reference him a lot only because he's a really great example from running a restaurant that was one family restaurant, very award-winning, very good at what he did in a local club. And then he came to us and we rebranded him. We did a personal branding session with him, and I worked a lot with him on his confidence and belief. And a lot of the stuff that I'm sharing with you in this video is exactly what I shared with him a few years ago. And I said to him, because he was terrified about making video, and that was a big part of the personal branding thing that we were doing with him. I said, well, you can't have a personal branding session if you don't actually have video content, you know, to show who you are. You can't do all this stuff and then not have the video to go along with it. And so he embraced it, he trusted me, and I said, you need to prepare. You need to really dig deep, you need to do the research, go back and remind yourself, why am I entitled to speak on a video and let people know what I do? Oh, that's right, I'm actually good at what I do. Look for the evidence and rediscover yourself and pat yourself on the back and let you embrace who you are and what you're doing. So for him, he was award winning. I said, you haven't accidentally won those awards. You deserve to put yourself forward at the face of your business and talk to other industry people and what you do and get more restaurants. You deserve it because you're doing such an amazing job already in the business that you're in. You have so much value to communicate. People are interested in what you have to say. And so he dug really deep and he really got connected to who he was again as a business owner, but as a business leader as well in his industry. And he did this really cool thing. He called himself a hospitality entrepreneur. And I knew that when he did that, I knew that he owned it. He was starting to own himself as being somebody that was worthy of being able to speak on camera and communicate his message across. And my guess is that perhaps why you've Googled this very topic as well to research and listen to, or maybe you've stumbled across it, or you follow me and you're just watching one of my videos, is because it resonates with you too. Is we all have a feeling that we may be not worthy, and it's just not true. If you're already in business now and you have clients coming through the door and you have people that refer back to you and you have people that come back to you and do repeat business, then you are very worthy, my friend, of putting your thoughts and your intellectual property and your heart and your soul onto video and sharing that with people. And the other thing that makes people feel really less than confident is criticism. And I get that. So we need to address that. Typically when you're being criticized by somebody, it's not because it's actually warranted, but it's because it's a reflection of how they feel about themselves. And you've really got to look at where the criticism is coming from. So I do get a little bit of naysaying from some people that are close to me, and they're not. And I remind myself every time, and if they say something, they go, your videos are a bit long, they're a bit hard to watch, or gee, you do the self-promotion a lot, and I just sort of smile to them with love and send them love. And I've been doing this a long enough time now that I'm quite confident. But back at the time, that would rattle me. But now I just sort of say, thank you, but you don't need to worry about me. I'm totally fine. I'm totally okay. I know what I'm doing. I know who my target audience is, and you're not it. I know who I'm talking to. You're not it. I know who I help. You're not it. And I know that the information that I give is really valued by them, not you. So I'll take my critiquing from the very people that I think that my content is made for. And so if somebody who my content is made for is giving me feedback that perhaps something I'm doing is a little bit off or not exactly on par with, perhaps what I'm trying to get across, I'll listen to that. Because that's not even criticism, that's just called feedback, and we should all take feedback. But when we have beautiful, loving people in our life that have perhaps their own hang-ups about being seen and heard and worrying about what people are saying about you, or just projecting their own feelings of lack of confidence onto you, we can't take that on board. And that is probably the biggest thing that stops people from hitting record on a camera, is taking on board other people's feedback. when they're not really the people that are meant to be giving us feedback for it. They're coming from a kind place, so don't get upset with them or angry with them, but just understand where it's coming from. And it's not helpful. So ask them with kindness to please stop. Because if it's stopping you from actually doing more in your marketing and really working through with your personal brand, then that's actually really bad. And I'll use that strong language. It's bad because it's stopping you from growing, and it's stopping you from sharing what you know with people and transforming their lives. Because if you're connecting with me, well, then we probably have shared values. And my highest value is all about transforming lives, which is why I'm telling you the story. And I jump around all the time. Unfortunately, that's how my ADHD brain works. But I was telling you the story about Steve, where we got him to a point where he was comfortable with creating video. So the next step in how we go about being confident creating video, we've already talked about the purpose and then connecting to it and really understanding who it is you're helping and what you want to say, is not making it about you. And we've kind of like morphed into this section already when I was talking about people criticizing. But when you get that it's not about you and it really is about who you're helping, it is a completely different experience of making a video. When you can get past that the video isn't a video, it's actually another human that you're talking to, because when you see this and it's edited and pieced together, I am talking to you directly. You are a person, and I have a visualization of who you are as a target audience and exactly the kind of person that I want to be relating to and make it relevant to. So the next step is just about getting out of your own way, getting out of your own ego, hate to say it, not caring what people think about you in the sense of the people that it's not made for, and if they're going to be critical because they just feel uncomfortable because they would never do it. It's really about stepping into who you are as a business leader and understanding that it takes doing this, getting a little bit uncomfortable, making video. So Steve, the example who I was using before, it's always good to have stories around what you're doing. He spent a lot of time working on his self-confidence, and some of the exercises I got him to do was to visualize himself doing this so he felt comfortable doing it. Because the brain's actually quite a brilliant thing. But it's kind of dumb in some ways too. And one thing is that it doesn't understand what's real and not real. So if you spend a lot of time visualizing and seeing yourself and picturing it, of you speaking into a camera, being really comfortable and really relaxed and enjoying the experience and really getting into it and not having nerves and really feeling into how relieved you feel when it's over, but how good you feel when you've done it, because you know that you've helped people, and how wonderful it feels to actually be attracting more people into your leads, and to be able to give more contacts to your salespeople, and to be able to have a YouTube channel with more people on it, and to be just helping more people and having more customers and feeling that feeling. When the time does come to go and start making video, it does make it easier because your brain believes that it's done it before and it feels familiar. So it's incredibly important that you visualize yourself doing this, and that you put yourself in a really comfortable environment where you feel at ease while you are making video. So you can see that I'm in a really public place. I would never have started making video like this with people walking past and watching me do this. I've got people that are walking past and just standing 3 meters away and watching, or having a conversation amongst themselves and making noise. Like it's really distracting. So you don't do this straight away. You make sure you put yourself somewhere that's really comfortable and that you feel that you're going to get the best out of you. But you also go with something that is your personality, so it feels quite at home too. There's no point, please, I don't want to see any videos with blank white walls behind them. It's just that nothing more sapping of the soul, and that says zero about who you are as a person or as a business leader than a white wall. The only time I think a white wall is appropriate is if you're going to be putting graphics or something to your videos. Otherwise, please, no white walls. So step 3 of being really confident on camera, it's pretty obvious, but it still needs to be said. You need to be prepared. And I've just looked down at my notes because that is what I was, just instinctively did. I showed before. I have notes. I've got a whole page of notes. I've got the 5 key topics that I'm speaking to, but I've also got then like sub points underneath it, and then I might have like one name or something if there's a story that I wanted to talk to, like the Steve Sid story. It's really important that you're prepared and that you have a bit of a game plan. So basically when it comes to putting together any kind of presentation, any kind of talk, is that you have an intro where you let people know exactly what it is that you're going to be talking to, so they have an expectation, and you might summarize your key points, or you might just say that you're going to be going into key points. And then what I do is you have your key points. Like some people say no more than 3. Well, I've got 5 today, but they kind of morph into each other and they make sense, and I'd be ripping you off if I only gave you 3. But then from those 5 points, you give your point, but then this is where the key is, where it makes people really engaged. And this is also where it works wonderfully for having more confidence. You might see that I actually light up when I tell a story, because I'm going into that part of my brain, and because my whole ethos is all around transforming lives. As soon as I start telling you a story about how I've transformed lives, I light up, my energy changes, I get really comfortable and confident, and I can speak on that for ages. And so I think if you have a structure and a format that you stick to and a key point, but the quicker you can get into telling a story about how you actually made that happen, so you will establish, like, this is the point, or this was the problem that a client had. I talked about that. I said, so Steve's problem was that he was really nervous talking on camera, but he knew he had to. So you identify the problem, and I said, but the solution was I was going to show him how to be more confident. And these are the steps that he took, and then you would share the results. So the results, I'll share that with you now. The results of Steve getting more confident when he started making video was that he took to it like a duck to water. And he was just out everywhere in his everyday life with his wife, or just out in general, because he is in the hospitality industry. He'd go away for the weekend, he might go to a show, he was up at the Hunter Valley, I remember, and he would go to a restaurant, and he would go to different kind of establishments there where they made their own food, and he would just pull out his camera and and start talking to that, and would just give like a little 1 or 2 minute or 3 minute review about it, and then he would post it online. And it created so much discussion and so much interest that he really enjoyed that, because he's all about making a difference too, and connecting with people, and really being seen as the hospitality entrepreneur, and he was really living into that. And so then what happened was he was seen not too soon after that by some very influential people online watching his video, and they're going, oh my God, he's the logical choice for our next chain of restaurants in our clubs. And that's where he got his massive kick along in his business. He went from being in one club to being in 4 more clubs within 6 months, and having multiple restaurants and multiple hospitality spaces in each of those clubs. And they were very reputable clubs. And the reason why they chose him is because they believed in him. They were aware of who he was beforehand and had done a little bit of business with him, but because they had got to see him online through his videos, they realized how attentive he was, how into his business he was. He was the right man for the job. He actually cared about the end user and customers and the people that are the club owners, and he was the only man that they considered for their next appointment. And that all came from having the confidence to make video. Now, I've sort of simplified the whole story, but that is the guts of the story. They may not have ever he may not have come across their radar again had he not been putting up so many videos online, just short little snippets in a really friendly way, doing it through the usual channels, Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram, and get on their radar again. So this is the importance of video, and why it's so important to get past your nerves, connect to who you are, understand your purpose, know who you're talking to, and then just come at them with that, and have a structure about what you're going to be talking and a plan. So the 4th tip I have is that it's so important to be comfortable. I think I've kind of already touched on that already. Like, I'm comfortable enough now because I've made, I reckon, up to hundreds of videos now, that I can come out in a public place and do this. But if you're not comfortable doing that, don't. Find a place where you are comfortable. And I used to always take my shoes off, actually, when I would make video, because I would feel so comfortable having my feet really firmly planted in the ground. And another way for me to feel comfortable is I did actually make some body sculpting videos last year when I was preparing for it, where I was not made up, my hair wasn't done, and I was very a la natural, and I did feel a bit uncomfortable doing it. But the whole purpose of that video was that I showed actually how I was feeling in that moment, which wasn't good. And that was the whole point of the video. But generally when I make video, I always make sure I got my hair nice, I like the clothing I'm wearing, got a bit of makeup on, and I feel really well presented, because that's how I would just go and meet up with a client anyway, and feel really well presented. So whatever is congruent for you and whatever is your normal, make sure you do that, because if you're going to try and be not you and then go and make a video, it's not going to work. You're going to feel stupid, you're going to feel awkward and uncomfortable anyway in an uncomfortable situation. So it's incredibly important to just make sure that you are as comfortable as you can be as you in your skin before you do it. And I'm not saying you should be overly made up either. Now, I've got people that I work with, clients that never wear makeup and aren't fancy and frivolous, or they are just who they are, and they're really comfortable making videos exactly like that. And then the 5th and final tip is, in the immortal words of Nike, just do it. Or Michelle Bridges, hers is just fucking do it. Honestly, just do it. Like, set the date, set the time, Go through all the steps that I talked about. Prepare yourself, connect to your vision, connect to who you are, connect to who you're helping. Don't make it about yourself. Really tune into who it is that you're helping and how you transform lives, if that's what is floats your boat, or whatever your values are. Whatever it is, tune into those values and be prepared. Know what you're going to talk about. Have a couple of stories in your back pocket that you can share, so that's when you light up and can really show your personality. Be comfortable. Think about the clothing that you're wearing. Think about the setting that you're in. Like, I'm really comfortable in the setting. I'm very connected to the water. I hope you can see the water. Very connected to this environment. Very happy. I mean, I've got people all around me. I've got a gardener stomping in the garden next to me. It is awkward, but I'm okay with it. You might not be okay with it, so just make sure that you're somewhere really comfortable and get connected to that. Visualize. That is a really, really powerful tool. Visualize yourself. Practice if you want to practice, but don't overdo it. Have your key points and then just go. And practice, and go. Press record and then just do it. The thing is, don't have stupid big expectations of how amazing your first video is going to be, because it's probably going to be a bit weird and a bit awkward. And actually, I can guarantee you it is. So the faster you get started, the better. There's a couple of other techniques that we could teach you too, but honestly, I think the best one is just talking to the camera like it's a human, and then doing what I'm doing. Like, you'll notice in my edit that there'll be bits where I just cut. So there's bits where I just stop and pause, look down at my notes, reflect, think about it, okay, and then get started again. So then you can just edit that and cut that out. I mean, editing is one of the most powerful tools. You just want to make sure you have the right gear as well, if that's going to make you confident. Like, all I'm using is a little action camera, and it's on a tripod. I've got a microphone with the fluffy dead cat thing on that to help if there's any wind. Lucky it's not a windy day today. And that's it. That's as high tech it is. I don't have any lights with me because I'm outdoors. I've just positioned it, make sure it looks good, and then I just do it. And I think if you're speaking on a topic that you're really confident about anyway, and people know you for, and you know exactly what it is that you want to get out of that. I know what I want to get out of this. I want to engage with as many people as I can. I want to help as many people as I can. I want you to get a short win or quick win, so that you take these tips and you actually go away and create a video and feel confident doing it. Because then you will be endeared to me. You'll be like, I really love that video that Melissa made. That was so helpful. And you'll watch more of my content because this one was helpful and got you a quick win. And then, you might even sign up to one of my courses, or you might engage me to do some work with you after a period of time, because we create a relationship and you're like, she's really good at what she does. I want her to write a marketing strategy, or I want her to make some professional video with me, or I want you to build my website, or I want to join my course. Like, I have a course which is called, it's a membership really, and it's really cheap to join. It's called the Content Creator Club, and this is what we do, because you need to be making content. Like I said before, you need to be spending 80% of your time on your business, sales and marketing. You can't just go to every single networking event on the planet. It's too slow. You can meet good people there, but everything you do is like a piece of the puzzle. So you need to have a digital footprint, and people need to be able to find you online. And the beautiful thing for me now is when I do go to networking events and meet them in person, a lot of people have already engaged with me and seen me. They might have seen me on a podcast, on a video. They might have come along to a webinar that I put out. They might have seen me on a guest podcast. And it's a warm introduction. They've already got a warm feeling around me, or not. They might not like me. They might not like my style. And that's important to mention too. We're not in this to be Ms. Popularity. Like, it's okay if people don't like you. It's okay if they move on and they like somebody else's style, because there's enough people out there that will like you, will engage with you, will connect with you, and will think that what you do is great, and you will pick up more customers if you are consistent and put this material out weekly. So I really, really want for you to get confident on camera. And if you're interested, I would love you to go check out my Content Creator Club. I've got the link down here. It's melissajscott.com. Please go check it out. It's a monthly, really inexpensive monthly fee. I do every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Sydney time. I do 1 hour of coaching. So half an hour is just solid coaching, solid information, talking around a topic around content and all the various social media platforms, or email marketing, or video marketing, or how to be really good and confident. We do 1 week of every month where I talk specifically to self-belief and self-confidence, because I know that's so important, and that's where people are stopping and creating their confidence because they don't feel like they have a right to do that. They don't feel worthy. So I really work on mindset and positivity and give you some really good helpful tips and tricks on how to get around that. But the rest of the time is just all about speaking specifically to the platforms and what's really good content for you and strategy around that. So I really invite you to go check that out. You can opt opt out at any time. You're not locked in for any time at all. You can just come for 1 week and then take off. We've got a whole back catalogue of old videos that are on there. There's Zoom meetings. You come in, the first half hour is just straight out content from me. The next half hour, I try to keep it where we're really engaging and that I can answer your questions. It's Q&A. There's a whole lot of accountability about it. Like I said, homework every week. No one does it. But the people that want to succeed will do it. And that's the most important thing. I want to get more people into my club. It's seriously really good. It's high value. You can join it, or the person who is your marketing assistant can join it and can get some really good knowledge on how to do your content better. But particularly if you're interested around this whole self-belief, self-confidence thing, I teach a lot of that in there. It's just part of my ethos to do that because, like I said, I'm all about transforming lives. I've done that with so many clients already, even in small ways. You know, like Steve Sid was a really great example of a really big, massive change. He's now in 10 different clubs in New South Wales and with 30 plus restaurants, 30 plus event spaces, 400 plus staff. He has a food company where they buy in all their own food in a big warehouse and they distribute that all out to their own venues now. He's got an app company that he's partnered in. He has a college where he's teaching hospitality in that. He's going to be going into the online space as well. And his life has changed, and that's been in 3.5 years. And I can honestly, hand on my heart, say a lot of that has got to do with him stepping into his self-belief and his self-confidence in what he does and putting himself out there more in his marketing and in his content creation, that he got seen by the right people and put into the right places, and he has just skyrocketed and he has made use of that. That's the other thing. When you develop more confidence, you really make use of the opportunities that come to you. He jumped all over the opportunities that came to him and made something of them. So I hope that has really helped you. I would love you to share this video or this podcast episode with people in your world. I'd like you to sign up to it if you want, or if you're on the YouTube channel, please subscribe, like it, comment. That really helps. Share it. Drop me comments, have a chat with me. I will chat back with you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. And probably one of the most important things that I forgot to mention while I was making this video is the importance of smiling. There's nothing more connecting, I think, to yourself and your mission and your vision and your purpose is when you smile, when you feel into who you're helping, but then you put a smile on your face and then you hit record. It's really a big thing for me. I know that when I'm about to start making a video, I could be thinking about it very serious, but the second I'm about to hit record, I think about my audience, I think about how I'm helping them, and then I smile, hit record, and start speaking. And it is so much more organic and natural feeling, and I think helps a lot with building the confidence, because I feel, for me, it's really important. I feel like I'm making a difference by doing it. So there's a purpose behind the video. So that's my huge tip, is smile when you're making your video. When you talk to a person, you usually smile at them. So smile at the camera, because you are talking to a person through that camera.